Hello everyone and welcome to this month's vlog. It is going to be a little bit of a quieter one this month because we are just at that sort of time of year here in Australia. The kids have just started a brand new school year, so there's lots of school fees to pay. There's things like the credit card bills from Christmas that needs to be paid, and it all generally happens in February. So February is always traditionally a very quiet month for me, but that doesn't mean to say that I'm going to sit back and do absolutely nothing. I always take advantage of the really quiet months, and I start doing all my planning. I start catching up where I can. It's where I begin to start experimenting with recipes and stuff like that, because I just have that sort of perfect time to be able to play and do that sort of thing. So it won't be a completely boring vlog, but it is going to be a little bit quieter in terms of sort of getting customers in the shop and stuff like that. Also, I thought I'd take you along and show you some of the things I've been getting up to outside of the business, really. So it is Monday, which means that the shop is closed today, and it's my one of my 2 days off. Up until last year, I was spending most of my days off at home doing a lot of business stuff. So I was writing things for Patreon, I was editing videos for YouTube, I was doing all sorts of stuff on my days off, and they really weren't actually days off at all. And I decided that this year I was going to allow myself a lot more time, because towards the end of last year I started discovering some of my sort of old hobbies, or rediscover some of my old hobbies, and I was thoroughly enjoying picking up some of these old hobbies that I haven't done for ages. And I decided that this year I was going to give myself more time to do it. Now obviously I've been in here making stuff today, and that is because last week I ended up with I got a custom order for some shampoo bars. They wanted unscented, no coconut oil, no fragrance, no colour. I actually made them for her a few years ago, and she's run out of the ones that I made her back at the end of 2020, so we've just made a fresh batch for her, and they're all up there drying. And while I was doing that, I checked last week before I left the shop which of the shampoo bars needed restocking in my backup drawer, and thankfully the Ocean Deep does, because I had actually run out of the shampoo bar in my shower, and that's the one I use. And I prefer to actually take one that's not boxed up, wrapped or anything like that, so I'm not wasting packaging. So I'll keep myself one of those bars. And I also had to make a batch of Invigorating as well, so they're all done. They'll be drying over the next 2 days, and then I'll take them back to the shop on Wednesday and wrap them up. But that is pretty much all of the business stuff I need to do on my days off, which is really, really good feeling. I'm going to get this area all cleaned up, and then the only other business thing I do have to do is go and deliver or go and post the parcels that I got over the weekend. I'm going to go to the post office in a bit and post those off. But instead I thought, as well as showing you some of the things I'm going to be doing in the shop this week, I'm also going to show you some of the things I've been getting up to outside of business. But first of all, I need to finish cleaning this area up so that it is nice and neat and tidy. I'm basically being real lazy here and probably making the job a lot harder than what this probably should be. After I finished cleaning up inside, we headed off to Bunnings to go and get some extra hoses to go in my veggie patch out here. I've had a tap put onto the back of the shed here. So when we built this shed about 6-7 years ago, I had water put into it. So there's this big copper pipe running around the back of the retaining wall. And then this week we got a plumber in to come and put a tap on the back here, so I've actually got water to water the back of the garden without having hoses kind of littered from one end of the yard to the other. So right now this that I'm making quite difficult for myself. I've bought an extra hose and there were some plastic clips on it when I when I opened it, and rather than going into the house to go and get myself a pair of scissors to get these clips off, I basically just took the end off the hose and then pulled it all out. So let me get that back on there. Alright, so once we'd been to Bunnings, we then had to go, I needed to go and get some more milk and stuff, so we popped on into the shops, grabbed some things for lunch this week, a little bit of the veg that I haven't actually got growing and felt like having this week. And then we grabbed ourselves some lunch. There's a new sushi place opened in the shopping centre, so we grabbed some of that, and boy was it good value. It was $14 for a large bowl of I had a honey soy chicken. It was $14 for the bowl, and I was able to split that in two, so I had half for my lunch and I'm going to have the other half for my dinner tonight. And then once we'd got back, had some lunch, I sat and read my book for a little bit, and I've just been mucking around on the computer. I'm going to get into some sewing in a bit, but it is really, really, really warm today. It's been up to about 35, I think, 35, 37 degrees. So it's about 3 o'clock now, so I'm coming out to put this water together, so in about an hour's time I'll be able to give this bed a really good watering, because it has been hot and they're looking a little bit sad. I'm going to go and get this sprinkler set up, and then I'll show you my veggie patch. Okay, so here is my rather sad looking veggie patch at the moment. It's looking sad for two reasons. The first is because it is just so hot, and we're at a point in the day where everything is starting to get wilted because it's really dry and just hot, so things are looking a little bit wilted. But the other problem I have only just managed to get this completely and utterly possum proof. I thought I had problems with rats in here, and I had, as you can see, a live catch rat trap thing down here. Kept going off and I wasn't getting anything, and then one day I heard it go off and I came racing outside to see what it was and found a possum in here. And up in the top corner here, that piece of wood is fairly new in there. It wasn't there before, and it had managed to pull the netting off the top of the fence and was getting in and through into my veggie patch, and it was decimating this. I probably had, I don't know, easily 4 or 5 kilos, maybe more, of Roma tomatoes on this plant here, and I pretty much have only had about 4 or 5 tomatoes of it in total, because every night this possum was getting in here and just decimating my garden. And the rat trap wasn't working because it was too big. It could get its hand in there and can get back out without setting the thing off. So, well, it set the thing off, but it could actually get back out. But much to the possum's disgust, I have finally got this completely and utterly rat proof or possum proof, and things are actually starting to grow. So we are pretty much at the end of the summer growing season, but you can see I do still have a few little things. These are my blueberry tomatoes, absolutely beautiful. I have got a midnight snack tomato down there, and I literally have had one tomato off it because every time it grows the possums just absolutely destroy it. I'm so surprised that it has actually reshooted. This poor tomato plant has had such a story to go with it. It's also destroyed this is meant to be a mini capsicum plant. It destroyed that. It was eating my mint, everything. But we have got it through. We can see we've got some Roma tomatoes now actually ripening up, so we'll get a few. I've got one here I can see has got blossom rot on the bottom of that, so we'll actually take that off so that the plant doesn't try and ripen something that's not worth it. It had been destroying all of my strawberry plants, but I have planted some more, a good watering, and they should come back. We've been able to get a fair bit of lettuce out of here. Again, it's looking really wilty because we're at the end of the day. It's even decimated my cabbage. This is Savoy cabbage, and it was going really, really nicely, and then it just came along and ate all the tops out of it. But hopefully now things are going to start growing. So I've just put in a new sort of watering system. We've got this drip one, which is really good for the plants that like their roots watered, but it just wasn't giving enough water to the whole bed. So I've just put a sprinkler system in too. So I'll use the two combined together to get plenty of water in here. I have noticed I've got a fair bit of this silver beet that I can actually come and harvest. Might have some of that for my dinner tonight. And then out here I have another patch as well. The possums haven't been able to work out how to get into this one, so it stayed relatively safe. So we'll just pull that out of the way and come on inside. And in here I have a few different things. The absolute mess is mainly the pumpkin and sweet potato vines. We've got butternut pumpkins growing. I've had a few from off the vine, and they're only little, but they're really, really nice. And then I have also got this one in here, which is a rock melon, or for those of you over in America, a cantaloupe vine. I actually pulled two of them off this morning, and I have also eaten another one. They are absolutely beautiful. And we've got a few more little butternut pumpkins growing over there. I do have some carrots as well, but I don't think they're doing particularly well. They've been in there a while and just they're not growing. And I have got a zucchini as well. That needs a bit more water, but this little patch is just an absolute mess, but I'm getting plenty from out of it. Now that I have got that bit all set up, I had to give up with this bit of hose. I hummed and hawed about whether or not 5 meters was enough. Hubby was saying yes, 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 and I'm going, no, maybe I should get a 10. No, 5 is enough. No, I needed a 10 because it only got halfway down there. So I've just used the original hose that we had here. I am just going to pop it on for now, just so everything can have a bit of a water. Make sure that I have actually got all that set up. I'll leave it go for about half an hour, and then I'll come out, and then the drip system should also kick in. But this lot can have hopefully a really nice drink. We won't get too close, otherwise we'll all get very wet. Oh look, everything's going to get wet because we've had a bit of a burst. Oh, so that's better. I discovered there was one of these stupid water saver rings on the end of the clip there, and that's why it wasn't actually pushing on properly. I've taken it off. It's now all plugged in. It is spraying water everywhere. I'm going to pop in there and just fix it up a little bit, just to make sure that the water is actually spraying where I want it to go. And then I'll go inside, dry off, and go and find out where Miss Lucy's disappeared to. It didn't take long to find her, hiding out in the cool. I'm going to go and get myself dried off. Alright, it's about 10 o'clock at night. I was sitting in the office space in there. I was doing a bit of sewing. I was also editing some of the vlog that I've done today, and I could hear rustling out here. And now, although I'm pretty sure I've got this completely and utterly possum safe, I have put so much money and time into this enclosure that every time I hear rustling of leaves, I come running out here. I have just discovered we have got a little gecko. I'm trying to get it so you can actually see, but there's a gecko sitting on the top here. He's not the one making the noise, but if we come over here, I'm just watching for toads on the floor. Being in Queensland, here's one over here. Here is a cane toad. They are a right pest here, but I could hear the rustling, and there he is. That is one of 3 possums that live in this tree. I have no idea what he's got in his mouth. It's definitely not something from out of the garden. There's no good winking at me. I've got you out of that enclosure, but what are you eating? Oop, there's another wink. I have no idea what he's actually got in his mouth there. It's green, so I don't think it's a bug. I did throw that tomato with the blossom rot out into the top of the garden bed over that way, so maybe he has discovered that. I can hear his partner somewhere else, further up in the tree somewhere. There's a whole family of them, so I'm assuming, whoop, Toadie's on the move. I'm assuming it's a family because I've seen 2 possums and I've seen a really small one in here as well. So, and earlier this year I saw them carrying one on their back, so I'm pretty sure it's a little family. This is a bush-tailed possum. They are super cute, but they are so destructive when it comes to the garden. I'm trying to see what it actually is that he's got in his mouth, but he doesn't want to show me properly. But at least he's not in my garden. I'm pretty sure we have got this all completely and utterly possum proofed now. There is about 20 meters of chicken wire running all the way around the outside, and then all the back of that is all secured onto the fence, so I'm pretty sure they can't get in. Apparently they are too lazy to actually get under the edges here, so hopefully whatever he's got there is something I've either thrown into the garden or something he has found. He's just moved his head. Still actually can't work out what it is he's got. Maybe I'll be able to zoom in when I'm on the computer and find out. So he's moved further up the tree so he can eat his little snack in peace. So we're going to leave him be and go back into the house. Now, despite all the damage that they have actually done to my garden, I don't mind them being here. They add to the ecosystem, and here it is actually illegal to either kill them, which I really don't want to do, and you can't actually remove them from their homes either because they're extremely territorial. So we're just going to leave him in peace as long as he can't get into my veggie garden. I'll throw him the odd snack every once in a while. So I'm going to head back inside. I'm pretty sure Lucy's still in here. I am then going to put my sewing away, and then I'm going to head to bed. Oh, here's one of Miss Lucy's ramps for how we've been getting her around the house. I'll give you a bit of an update on her tomorrow. So I know it's going to be a little bit too late by the time you guys get to see this, but happy Valentine's Day. It is Tuesday the 14th of February. I have been busy this morning. It is just gone 1:30 in the afternoon, and it's not busy because hubby and I have been doing stuff to do Valentine's Day. We actually don't celebrate Valentine's Day. We've only ever had one sort of really romantic Valentine's Day, and that was when we'd been going out for about 4.5 years. He decided to take me out for breakfast one morning, and it was on that morning he actually proposed to me, and he said he just wanted to remember which day he'd actually asked me to marry him on. So that's pretty much been the only romantic thing we've ever done on Valentine's Day, because we both have this kind of opinion that if you can only love each other or show that you love each other on one day of the year, don't bother. So I know that's probably a pretty horrible sort of thing, but you know, we do things together almost every single day. We show each other that we love each other every single day. We don't need to have one day in the calendar year to do this on. So we basically don't celebrate Valentine's Day, and it's why you actually see I don't make the Valentine's soaps. I don't do all the little Valentine's gift packs and stuff like that, because it's just not something I actually personally believe in. I do believe in loving each other every day of the year, not just on that one day. Enough of that sort of cynical attitude. So we've actually not done anything, but this morning I had a bit of a tinker around in my office space, and I'm going to take you through it now. And I have also gone off this morning down to Ella in Cleveland, and I've just had my electrolysis treatment. The hirsutism that I had quite badly around this time last year for a number of years, we've finally got on top of it because of it, and I'm so pleased with the work that's been going on. But I have just been for that treatment today, come back, I've had some lunch, and I've just said goodbye to hubby because he is off to work. And now we are in my rather messy very cluttered office craft room space. We're going to actually get this fixed up later this year once we come back from our Melbourne trip, but for now this is a space that I'm kind of working in. And up until recently, it's always been enough. I've always had the office space set up over here, and then this sort of crafting area. I've not had a lot of crafting stuff out over the years because I used to have a crafting business and I lost interest in it after a number of things happened, and I started to really hate doing the craft side of things. But last year I decided to pull my sewing machine out and dust it off and use up some of the fabrics that I had sitting in the spare room, and that was when I started making my clip balm holders for the lip balms. I then discovered I had fabrics that were either I had so much of it I was going to end up with too many clip balms, or the patterns were too big for them, so I started making scrunchies as well. Yes, there is Tinker sitting there. She had a bath last week. She needs to be put away. So I pulled the sewing machine out, and I've really been enjoying sewing, and then I decided I had all these other things I wanted to make, and I thought for Mother's Day this year I wanted to start making some Lupin heat packs. So I treated myself to an overlocker, or a serger as I think they're known in America, and that arrived last week. I'm a bit of a Janome girl, so both of my machines are Janomes, but I did make this one last night as a template to see how it went, and now that I'm happy with it I can actually cut out more fabric and stuff. But as you can see on this desk, it is just an absolute mess. It's not easy to cut fabric and have the machines out, so I really need to sort this space out. You can see it is just I have no words for it. If you've been around for a while, you may know that I used to actually have a craft business quite some time ago, where I sold stamps and embossing folders and die cuts and paper and all that sort of stuff. And I had this business from 2010 right up into 2016, when I made the heartbreaking decision to actually shut the business down. Quite a number of things happened in 2015 coming into 2016, and I knew it was only going to get worse from that point onwards. Two of the biggest things that happened was that the currency exchange rate took an absolute dive, so things were actually costing a lot more to bring in, and I was then having to sell at a much higher price than what I wanted to. And the other thing that happened was one of the craft wholesalers that was here in Australia went up for sale, and it got bought by a major online craft business, and they basically, through some underhanded sort of ways of working the business, they push the wholesale price up to the small retailers like myself, but because their bigger sort of online side of things was still accessing it at the cheaper wholesale price, cheaper than like the original buy price, this online wholesaler could sell so much cheaper than all of the small retailers, to the point that all the little small retailers had to close their businesses down. And as soon as a majority of those were gone, this online supplier skyrocketed their prices back to what they should have been, and it was absolutely heartbreaking to go through it and to see how many other small businesses were in the same position as what I was. And to this day I still don't buy from off this online supplier, because I don't agree with their underhanded tactics that they did to basically get almost a monopoly on this market. Apart from a couple of the other big supply chain stores, they basically knocked out all the small suppliers, and it's really hard to explain, but I became so resentful of it that all of this craft stuff that I've got here, all my stamps, my die cuts, my paper, everything, I now look at it and I get so upset, and I just can't actually bring myself to make cards and scrapbook and all of that sort of stuff. So when I closed the business down in 2016, I did decide to hang on to most of the stuff, and every so often I try to make a card and I just fail at it miserably. I'm never happy with it. It just doesn't come out right, not the sort of work that I used to do. And over the years, it's just sat there and it's starting to go. Some of it has actually already started to rot away, like all the colouring pads and ink pads and stuff like that have all started to deteriorate, so they've got to go in the bin. But I've also got a lot of stuff that is still actually very usable. So what I have decided to do today is to actually go through all of this. This morning I was really excited. I don't know where I put the box. My mum joined a de-stash craft group and she said she was having a lot of success selling some of the stuff that she wanted to declutter from. And I asked her to join me into the group, so I did. And I've never had much success selling in groups, or I've had bad experiences, so I've been really wary about it. But this morning I decided, right, I'm going to grab all of these embossing folders. There's like almost 40 of them. In fact, there are 40 of them in here, and I listed them on the site at a ridiculously low price. I mean, most of these were from when I was doing classes and stuff, so most of it has actually been paid for, but a little bit of money to help replace little things that I might want to keep would be good. So I listed them, and within 3 minutes they were sold. They were paid for, sold. I'm going to go and send these off tomorrow, so that's given me a little bit more incentive to go through the rest of this and actually start sorting out and just selling it in bulk lots and give myself a little bit more room, allow someone else to actually enjoy the stuff as well, because it's been 7 years now, I haven't touched any of it, so I think it's time to actually part with it and just recognize that that's just a part of what I used to do. But on saying that, before I was doing all the card making and stuff, I was doing a lot of sewing, and that kind of got put to the wayside, so it's nice to know that my machine has come back out and that's getting a new lease on life. But I think for the rest of this afternoon, that's what I'm going to end up doing is just going through all this. We're going to throw out everything that has actually gone past its use by date. I'm going to box other things up to sell as little bulk lots, and just try and get rid of as much of this as possible, and then hopefully I can sell it before we actually go away, and I can either buy myself some new clothes for when we go on our trip, or buy a couple of little things I might like to replace. I don't know, we'll see what happens, but I'm going to get this all done. Miss Lucy has parked herself right smack bang in the middle here, so it's going to make it just a little bit more difficult. But talking of Miss Lucy, so it's been an absolute journey with this one. She wasn't meant to be using any stairs, which meant that we had to get some ramps to get her from the top of the house to the bottom of the house. She didn't like that idea. She was meant to be caged up, but we can't do that to her. We did get a little playpen cage for her, and she absolutely panicked in it. She's never been caged in her life, and she has had some traumas throughout her life, so she really didn't like the cage. And I figured that if we were going to actually have a caged up, she'd got herself out of it and she had wrecked a few things. I thought she's actually going to do more damage if we keep her in that cage, so we gave up on that idea and just made sure that she couldn't do things like jump on furniture. We put some baby gates up, so she had very limited space. But we are four weeks in. She's only just meant to be kind of walking on that back leg with little toe taps, but she has been walking properly since about 3 days past the surgery. And she's been trying to run around and do everything that she shouldn't. But then the vets have been pretty happy with her, so we're pretty sure she's healing really well. Hey? But she's been causing us all sorts of grief because of it. But she is healing really well, and hopefully this week she's going to go for her 4th injection, which I think is a anti-rejection one, and then the week after is when she goes for x-rays. But the vets are pretty happy with everything, so she's doing really well. Me and hubby are doing so well. We had to walk around on a sling. We're meant to still be walking around on a sling. She wants nothing to do with that anymore. She wants to walk by herself. But she is doing well. I don't think she really understands all the fuss. But she is walking much better. She's much happier. She doesn't seem to be in the pain that she was in either. So that's really good. But you're going to just lie here in the middle of the floor now, aren't you, while I try and work around you and try and box up all of this craft stuff. Let's get on to it. It's looking a bit grey and miserable out there. It's only just gone 4 o'clock, but it does look like it should be closer to about 6 o'clock. It's been a pretty unusual day. It's been fairly overcast. There's been rumbles of thunder all day, but the rumbles are getting a little bit more frequent, and it has started to rain. The garden is absolutely loving it out there, and the possum did not get in last night, so everything is doing well. Everything's having a good old water. I've been going along in here for a couple of hours now, and I'm kind of pleased and kind of not pleased with the progress. It doesn't look like I have done a lot, but I actually have. I know there's a great big black bin bag that has gone out to the bin. I've got the 3 boxes sitting in the middle there, which are all bundle lots on this craft de-stash group. Down the bottom here I have what's called a Zutter bind it all, and before I actually list that for sale as like a group bundle down there, I want to make sure that people can actually still buy the accessories for it, because I've had it for about 7 years and I just don't know if you can still get the accessories. The same with all of these punch boards down here. I've got like flower makers, pinwheel makers and all that sort of stuff, so I want to make sure that the accessories are still able to be purchased before I put them up for sale. There's no point selling something that someone actually can't use. So I'm pretty happy with how most of that is looking. It just doesn't feel like I've done a lot when I've only done that little bit there. I did also clear what was sitting on top of this trolley. This trolley is full of like wood mounted stamps from when I used to do all my stamping and stuff. Up in the top here I do have some of the sort of classic Stampin' Up sets as well, so I know I'll be able to sell a few of these that are in here. I just need to go through and I'm going to put them into little bundles that kind of make sense, make sure that the rubber stamps are still actually fine and that they are all why is there a doorknob in here? Oh, that must have been from when I used to do albums. I used to do like the scrapbook albums and used to make them yourself, so that must have been a piece of hardware, but it looks like that's gone a bit funny, so that might be heading off to the bin because I don't think that's going to be worth it to anyone. We'll see. But yeah, I just want to go through these stamps, make sure that they're all okay, and then I'll list some of those online. And then we've got all the sort of Stampin' Up stamps and other clear mount ones, and there's also things like embossing, not embossing folders, the die cuts in here as well. So it doesn't look like I've done a lot, but I have actually managed to get a fair bit of it out. Hopefully the bundles that I have put up will sell. I mean, I'm listing them so cheap. I have like 26 distress ink pads in this one box. I'm listing it for $50 including postage, so it's only just over $2 an ink pad when you're looking at it like that, so someone's gonna get a bargain. So I'm going to call it quits for today. I actually desperately need to go and have a shower. Everything's just so dusty. I've said it before in videos, we've actually got 3 quarries, 3 working quarries around us, so there is a lot of dust in this area. We're constantly dusting, but because I've not been using anything in there, the dust has just been building up. So as I'm going through stuff, I'm actually dusting everything off, which is why it's taking me so long to do everything. But I am now absolutely filthy, so I'm going to go and have a shower, and then I'm going to go get Miss Lucy upstairs, get her some dinner, because by the time we're up there, it'll be about 5 o'clock, so that will be dinner time. I might have a couple of hours just to relax and read my book up there, and then we'll come back downstairs in between rain showers hopefully, and I might see about clearing some of this mess off the desk and maybe doing a little bit more sewing. So Lucy and I made it upstairs just in time. She's all settled on her bed. She doesn't like storms, so she's a bit wary at the moment, but I'll give her some dinner about 15 minutes time and she should be fine. I have just put the Netflix on. I've just finished watching the last season of Valhalla that they've released. Really enjoying that. I'm going to actually start watching the new season, or the 4th season of You tonight. I've read the books, watched the first 3 seasons. Now normally I get really cross when the books and the shows don't match. In this case they really do not match at all, but it made it really quite interesting to read the book because I didn't know what was going to happen. But you can see out here that rain has really set in, which is a little bit of a worry because I got a message this morning to say that I had a toll delivery coming. I'm not sure what it is, but I've got a feeling it's my shelves that I ordered from IKEA to go down to the shop. They're the only thing I'm expecting as a delivery that is actually quite big and chunky, so toll would be the courier company to deliver it. But they didn't actually, IKEA didn't give me a tracking number or anything, they just said it had been sent. So hopefully this calms off just enough that we can get the delivery into the house without it getting too wet. And then I'm also hoping that this is going to calm down a bit by the time it comes around to bedtime, so me and Lucy can get back downstairs. But my plants are going to be loving this thunderstorm. I've got some more plants up here that need a little bit more water because none of this rain is getting them. I'm a bit upset. I bought this beautiful blueberry and I must have brought home a caterpillar hatching on it, and I've sprayed it with dipel, and all my leaves have curled and gone brown. And this one up here is a passion fruit which I need to get planted into the garden soon. But I might give these a bit of water, get Lucy some dinner, and then pop mine into the oven, and then we'll see if Toll's going to turn up. I did it. I managed to get up this morning. To be fair to myself, the last 2 mornings when I've woken up at about 5:30 in the morning, it has been about 28, 29 degrees, which is really, really warm for that time of the morning, and probably just a little bit too warm to be going walking around the sort of mountainous area that we're in. But this morning we had rain all throughout the night, so it's nice and cool this morning. So really enjoying my little walk. But I must admit, it's very, very weird walking without Lucy. I don't know how all these people do go walking without a dog at the other end of their arm. But I have been doing it much to Lucy's disgust. She really wanted to come this morning, but she's only allowed to go on like little short 10-minute walks at the moment, so she definitely can't come with me. So yeah, it's just me, really, really enjoying it. And then I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna have a bit of breakfast, and then we'll head down to the shop as usual. How cute are they? So I just want to take a moment to capture this on film because it's not going to look like this by the end of the week. Look how lovely and clean it is in here. In the orange bag there, that is some candle refills that a customer brought down to me on Sunday. So we'll get those cleaned out. We'll get the wax tank on and we'll get those all done. But it is nice and clean in here. Sunday was a little bit quiet, so I took the opportunity to really clean up in here. I'm going to get the air conditioning on, get some movement of air. But I did manage to get this area nice and clean until I came in and dumped all this stuff on the side. So let's first of all get the air conditioning on, cooling down for when we get ourselves all opened up. So the things I brought down with me today, I have got the shampoo bars that I made, so I need to get those all wrapped up, let them know that their custom order is ready. I also brought down a few of the molds from home. I'm hoping to do either a champagne and strawberries or a Prosecco rose soap, getting ready for Mother's Day. So I brought down my champagne molds. Also brought down my Easter bunny molds because that is something else I need to get on top of. But I do actually need to order, I remembered this morning, some more castor oil so we can fill the oil tank. So I'll do that later today. But I also have to go and put this lot away. These are all the ingredients I took home so I could make the shampoo bars, so that all needs to go away. And then in my other bag here, I've started to empty it out. I have got the other shampoo bars I've made to go on my shelf, plus out of the 5 packs that I put online of all this craft stuff, I have definitely sold 2. They have been paid for, so I'm going to get those shipped off today. And then I had someone else message me. It was about 9 o'clock last night. They sent me a message saying, are these still available on a stamp set? But they actually said good morning, so I've got a feeling they're not going to actually respond to my message until sometime this morning. But I did bring down the set that they were interested in, just in case, because if they are, I can get it sent out this afternoon as well. Other things I need to do today, this big pack on the back here, that is the stuff that I was doing last month in the vlog. Still haven't managed to get it sent down to Rhonda because a couple of things happened. I decided I was not only going to include a sample pot of the moisturizer that I'm going to be talking about when we go down to the conference, I decided to also ask Rhonda if I could include another sample pack in her little goodie bag to promote Pimp My Soap. Everyone loves a freebie, so I figured having some extra things in their goodie bags would be okay. Rhonda said it was fine to make them up, so I then made up these little soap dough packs here. So we've got 4 pieces of mini soap dough. They're only about 15 grams each, but people can have a bit of a play with the texture, see what the colors are like, the quality is like, and things like that. I decided to include a licorice, which is the black, so people could see just how good the black actually does come out, because it's such a hard color to do. And then I included the primary colors, so the red, blue and yellow, which means that they can all be mixed together to form things like blue, green and orange. In the back of this pack as well, there is a little sample bag of the Bio Sparkle that I sell. Each bag has actually got something different. I picked out, I think I've made up 60, I made 60 of these packs up. So I picked 6 colors out of the range. I made 10 bags up of each of them, and then I just randomly put a sample pack into these of the Bio Sparkle, so people can actually then compare the colors at the tables as well and see what is on offer, and people can swap and change if they want to as well. There is also a little discount code in here for people to use if they do like the soap dough or the Bio Sparkle. There is a little discount code in the pack that they can use. If you are attending the conference but going virtually, there will be a discount code shared with you as well as part of the pack that you're getting, so don't think you're going to miss out on getting that discount code. But these 2 things are now all boxed up. I was going to send them out on Monday. I finished writing up the little information book to go with it, which includes the formula, the basics, behind it, how to actually create the basic formula, stuff like that. It's about 8 pages, but I was printing it up in a booklet form, so it only works out to be 2 pages folded in half. I was printing it on the printer at home because that is the printer that does automatic back-to-back, does the booklets really well. And for some reason, while it was printing, it pulled up one of the sheets of paper, and instead of sending it under the cartridge carrier, it sent it over the top of it, and then the cartridge carrier ran over the top of the paper. It's all scrunched it up. It's put a kink in my carrier from what I can see, and this big thing came up saying either the ink cartridges or the carrier has been damaged. I'm pretty sure it is the actual carrier for the cartridge that has been damaged, so there's no point spending hundreds of dollars on new inks to go in there when I'm pretty sure the carrier's been damaged. So today I have to see if I can print on the printer in the shop here. It doesn't do automatic back-to-back, so I need to be able to orient my paper all correctly, and see if we can actually print these booklets up, because I really want to get these out to Rhonda today. If it doesn't print it up down here the way I want it to, I'm just going to have to think of some other way of doing it instead of using just 2 sheets of paper. I've got a feeling it's going to go up to 4 sheets so we can do back-to-back printing. I'll see what happens. Anyway, it is 9:10. I am late. I've got to get that door open. It's quiet out there, so no one's come knocking at the door yet. Got to get that door open, and then we'll get cracking on into this day. Oh my goodness. So I've learned my thing for today. I'm a strong believer in that you have to learn something new every single day. And today's new thing I have learned is that this printer in the shop does do automatic double-sided printing. It has taken me a while to actually work out how to get it to double-sided print so it actually forms the booklet. I had to go into all sorts of settings to get it to do it. So it's done. I'm going to be able to print up all of these little booklets and get them into the pack ready to go. so I am at a little bit of a standstill right now. Oh, I've just had an order come in. You can't hear it because it's all linked up to my my earphones at the moment. I'm at a little bit of a standstill because I've actually run out of a lot of things that I need down here at the shop, and I know that they're all at home. So one of the first things I ran out of was paper. I knew that I was running low here in the shop, but I kind of hadn't really put two and two together at home, that if I was going to be able to print these up here, I was going to need to bring a ream of paper with me. So I had enough in there to probably last me another couple of weeks if I wasn't printing these up. So I've managed to print myself 40 of these booklets to go in with the lotion. And I've got enough paper there to print up another at least 10, I think it is. So if by about 3:45 this afternoon I still have that paper in my printer, then I'll print myself up another 10 books that tomorrow all I have to do is do the final 10. So I've got all 60 to go with the lotions I'm sending down. I do use a bit of paper in the workshop for doing things like printing orders and that sort of thing. So I didn't want to actually run out of paper altogether. So I made sure I left myself enough to deal with the day, and then I'll bring some more paper in tomorrow. The other thing that I actually didn't kind of think about bringing down until I started printing up was my book stapler. Alright, we just had someone come into the shop, so I had to stop recording there, but I also printed up the order that we got. Thank you, Shan. I'm going to get that packed up in a moment and sent off to you. She's ordered some of our new Bio Sparkle colours. We've got Just Black, Midnight and Twilight. Beautiful, beautiful blends. All of my Bio Sparkle that I have on offer on the Pimp My Soap page are all custom blends. So you're not going to be able to buy these blends anywhere else unless someone else has, by pure fluke, managed to blend it in exactly the same way. So she's got those plus a few packs of soap dough as well. So I'll go and get that packed in a minute. So as I was saying, I do need to bring down my book stapler. So I can staple these up. I do have like a regular stapler down here, but I do also have one of those book ones where you can put that in and then it staples down through the middle for you, so then you get a really nice little booklet. But I need to bring that in with me tomorrow so I can staple them. I also need to bring down here, I need to bring down some small candle jars because I actually do need to top up a couple of those and I don't have any out the back. Oops. I also need to bring down some coconut oil because I've only got a little bit left in the drum out the back, and I wanted to fill up my big oil tank behind me, but I haven't got enough coconut oil to do that, and I'm also running really low on castor oil, so I have just put an order in with Heirloom for 20 litres of the stuff because I seem to have gone through the last few 5-litre bottles really quickly, so I just bit the bullet and ordered a 20-litre one. It does actually save money over the long run with postage and all that sort of stuff, so I've ordered that. And I also need to find where my lip balm tubes are. I should have about 200 or 300 of them at home, and I couldn't find them, so I'm going to have to go and search through the shed when I get home and bring those down because I have a little bit of a top up that needs to be done. So I've just written that down. I've also written down the shopping list that I've got to do after I've been to the post office, so I don't forget to grab any of that stuff. There's not a lot I can really actually do with all this stuff missing from the shop. I was going to make some salt bars, or at least get the oil set for doing some salt bars today. I was doing a range of luxury soaps and they're really not sold very well, so I'm pretty much going to give up trying to do the luxury soaps. But what has sold well in those luxury ones are the salt bars. So I thought rather than just having 1 or 2 salt bars at a time, I'm going to create a range of salt bars and maybe have 4 or 5 of them because so many people actually really do like them. And I was going to start making them today, but with so little coconut oil and hardly any castor oil left, I'm just going to have to wait and see until I can actually order them. So I think what I'm going to do for the afternoon, I'm going to sit and do a little bit of, well, first of all, I'm going to go and pack Shan's order. Then I'm going to do a little bit of planning and I'm going to listen to some of my podcasts on here. That's what I tend to do when when I'm really quiet, I get my little podcasts up on here. My favorite one to listen to, this is probably one of my little few secret things. I really enjoy listening to the crime podcasts, and mainly because, not out of any morbid fascination, but when I was actually at school, I was very much interested in law, and that was the sort of direction I was going. Things happened with assignments which kind of shone a light upon the legal system and made me think twice about actually going into it. But that doesn't mean to say I ever actually lost my interest in that sort of criminal world and trying to understand why people do the things they do. So I do actually like to listen to some of the crime podcasts. My all-time favorite one is Case File, and I really like Case File because it is an Australian who reads it, and I think he does spend a lot of his time in the US now, but he is really respectful. I can't stand true crime garage, as they call it, or true crime garage as I read it, because I just think some of the passing comments that I've heard, especially in the earlier episodes, are rather disrespectful. At the end of the day, it is fairly morbid to sit and listen to people committing these awful crimes, but I don't think it needs to be made a joke of either. There are families out there who are still around who these crimes have happened against, and they don't need people passing ridiculous and stupid comments about crime. So I can't stand that particular one, but I do like Case File because he reads it as the facts are. He explains the whole story. He's really respectful, and he doesn't make snide awful remarks. So I really enjoy listening to his. And the other one I really enjoy, it's called Minds of Madness, because what I like about him is that he tells you the story, but then he also goes into the psychology behind it, what actually triggered these people to possibly do what they did, their childhood traumas or other things that have happened in their life that led them to doing this. So it gives you a bit more of an understanding why someone's done something. He doesn't make it right, but I do like that background information as well. So I've been listening to those, and another one I've been listening to lately is called Frozen Head. I'm up to episode 5 of 6 in that, and that's all about cryogenics as well, but there's a bit of a crime story in there from what I can guess. I do listen to little bits of Crime Junkie, though sometimes I do get a little bit frustrated with some of the commentary that comes in with that one. I do think it can sometimes be a little bit unnecessary, not always disrespectful, but just unnecessary. I don't tend to like the ones that have the person narrating it and the person giving the ooh ahs and stuff. So I'm very picky about when I listen to Crime Junkie. And I used to listen to Once Upon a Crime, but I've stopped listening to her because she's changed the way that she's actually reading them and the amount of ads that she puts in. Crime Junkie's okay. Crime Junkie has a fair amount of ads, but all of their ad money goes into helping solve crime, so I don't mind that. Whereas Once Upon a Crime, I don't know what she does with the money. It's up to her. It's her money. She does what she wants. But I also don't want to listen to an ad every 2 or 3 minutes, and especially when they're just repeats of the same ad. So I actually stopped listening to hers. But I still have a few here. I can see that Case File has got a couple of new ones out. They've got a 3-part series. I won't start listening to them. I'm a bit like people with books and series. If I can see that there's 3 parts, I will not start listening to it until all 3 parts are up, because I want to be able to binge them and listen to the whole story and not have to wait for a week between. So I'm waiting on one more on theirs. But yeah, there's a few on that. And Serial was another one that I was listening to, but it doesn't seem like they put anything out regularly. But there were a couple of really interesting ones on there. If you have got any suggestions for podcasts that I might want to have a listen to, pop them down in the comment section, because I'm always looking for something new to listen to. Anyway, I have just had another message about something I've got up for sale. The original lady that I was saying I was waiting to hear back from, after several hours, she finally wrote back and just said no thanks. So okay, bye. But I've just got another message. So We'll see. Oh, they're just saying thank you. I gave them their tracking number. All right, let me get back into doing packing orders. Let's go and pack an order. Okay, so I found something to keep myself occupied for the rest of the afternoon. On the weekend, I wrapped up some of the soaps that were sitting on the cure rack, and I had all the photos and everything done. And when I was at home, I'd uploaded all the photos onto the website with the intention of, in spare time, updating the information, setting them to go live and that sort of thing. Well, I realised one of the soaps that I had already set to live and set a scheduled post for was for this one, the white peach and musk. That was all live on the website and everything. Posts went out to say that it was available, but I hadn't wrapped it up, so I decided I better very quickly get this one wrapped up just in case we do get any orders for it. So that's what I'm doing now. You can probably hear in the background we've got the printer going, so it's about 20 to 4 in the afternoon, so I've got about 20 minutes left. I decided I don't need any of the paper for anything today that's left in the printer, so as I said earlier, I am printing up 10 more of those booklets, so that tomorrow when I come in I only have to print up another 10. We can start stapling all the booklets together and then get that parcel out the door, and I can stop saying I'm going to be sending this parcel. It will be gone. So that sounds like it's almost at the end of printing that. So I'm going to finish getting these white peach and musk wrapped up and on the shelf, and then I'm going to head out to the post office and then head home, and so that we can take Miss Lucy to the vet for her final injection, and then next week she'll be getting her x-ray to make sure that everything has actually taken really well. So that's the plans for tonight, and I don't think I'm going to do much more. I've got an absolute splitting headache from the air conditioning unit. It's one of the real bad things for me about summer is that you do have to have the air conditioning on to make it more bearable, but it gives me such a headache, and I've had this thumping headache for about 2 weeks now, but I am almost at the end of the day, so I can go and get some fresh air soon, and we'll be back tomorrow. I think I've worked out I can put some oils into my melt tank as well, so we'll be doing that tomorrow. So funny, lately I've been seeing tons of videos out there, generally people from either down south or from international that have moved here, saying how Queenslanders are such early risers. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, but that sun is already about halfway up the sky for the morning, so you know, it's well worth getting up. Plus it's only got a temperature of about 18 degrees right now, so it is nice and cool, so you can get plenty done. Today's meant to be getting up to about 30 degrees, so I'm going to get stuff done while it's still under 20 degrees, and that is one of the reasons I like to get up early. Plus I love to hear the sound of the birds, and you get to see all the wildlife. There's none around today, but usually there's kangaroos and stuff all bouncing through here. So yeah, Queenslanders do get up early, but we get to enjoy the best part of the day as well. Alright, so just walking along, I've just spotted one. We'll see if we can zoom in on him just a little bit. He's in front of that tree. He's probably just a little bit too far away from my camera, but he's there. You can see him moving. They are so pretty, and he's literally, there's a little creek just in front of me, but he's probably no more than 10 meters away from me. I love this place. So I'm not too sure what's been going on out there, but I've opened up that door and all this mud and stuff has just fallen down off it, and it's all caked up of mud up to the top. And as I've walked down the side to go and get the stuff out of the car, all down the side of the building there is leaf and mud and stuff all scattered up there, but it doesn't look like the floor's been clean or the gutters or anything like that have been cleaned out there. So I don't know what's been going on out there, but I've got it all cleaned back up again, so shouldn't get any more sort of debris coming in under my door. I've just brought everything in from the car. Toll did bring me my delivery the other day. There was a bit of a break in the rain when he arrived, so it was really lucky for both of us. So I've just brought them down, so I'm hopefully going to get these shelves set up today. I've bought in my coconut oil. I've bought in some glass jars. But it's 9 o'clock now, so I'm going to go and get my door open. I'm going to go and get the stuff printed up that I need to do, get all of that done, and see where the day actually takes us. My customers are going to be so unhappy with me when they come into the shop because there has been a huge move around in here. But on saying that, I am super happy with how everything is looking, and it's going to give me the ability to expand the ranges that I am looking to expand. I know we've got 2 empty shelves at the moment, but they're not going to stay empty for very long. I will be stocking them up in at least the next month. One of the main things that I'm going to start expanding is the shaving range up here. I do both men and ladies shaving soap, and one of the things I wanted to do is try and grow the range. I currently have the boar brushes, but I have invested in some badger brushes, and I've also invested in some vegan friendly ones as well. I've got a couple which are vegan friendly and plastic free, so I really want to try and work on expanding that. And I have got razors, so I needed to raise my shaving stuff. Used to be sort of lower down here, but I needed to raise it up so I could keep the razors and things out of the way of little hands that like to come in and have a look at things. But I'm so super happy. I've kind of got it so it makes a lot more sense. My facial stuff was kind of scattered all down there and all around here, whereas now I have them on the 2 shelves close to each other so they're easy to see. I used to have my hand stuff over here and then my feet stuff over there, but I've now actually combined it all onto one shelf. So things are starting to actually make a lot more sense, that when you come in you can find groups of products. So really, really happy with how it's looking, and I'm sure my customers will get used to it. I got myself another set of these drawers. I don't like having shelves on the very bottom because, well, people never really look down there anyway because it's too far to go down. It's easy to get dirty and things like that. So I love these racks, which I get from out of IKEA. It's another part of the IVAR system. A little bit tricky to put together, but I have actually put quite a few of them together now, so they get a bit easier. Over time, this one will actually fade out to the same color as this. They generally take about 2 months to actually come into this really nice golden color, so very soon you won't actually be able to tell that that is a brand new trolley under there. But they're really, really good for storing stuff. So it is where I store like all my excess stock, whether these are all my online soaps, but then on the other side of the shop, on this side, we've got more underneath the candles, and this is where I kind of store all the excess stuff to go on the shelves. But I do very, very quickly run out of storage space. I also need to put this side of the shop, I have to remember to put it in at an angle. My floors must actually slope towards this way, and if I don't put those drawers in at an angle, it's like we've got a little ghost in here that pushes them all out. You can see this one's starting to push out now as well, so I just push the one end in, and then as long as it's on an angle, they don't roll back out. So these drawers under here, they do finish the sort of units off nicely, and I know they're full of stuff, but they don't necessarily look full of stuff, though some of my customers do know there's stuff in them. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. Okay, so although I haven't actually done much in terms of making product, putting things away, that sort of stuff, I feel super duper accomplished today. So I've been meaning to send this parcel off to Rhonda for at least 4 weeks now. Things just keep happening that keep delaying me getting it sent off, but now that I've got all those books all printed, stapled, folded into that box, I've got the shipping label on it. This afternoon I'm going to take it down to the post office and get that sent down to Rhonda. I was going to express post it, but it came up at $60 odd to express post. So it's just going to go normal post, which was about $30 because it's almost 8 kilos. In fact, no, it was over 8 kilos worth of stuff. It was almost 9 kilos worth of stuff in those boxes. So hopefully that gets down to Rhonda safely. I did double bag it because I just wasn't confident that the bag wasn't going to rip, and there's just been so many little dramas along the way. I really need this to get to her safely. I feel really good that I finally got that shelving done. I've been wanting to do it for so long. I've got all this new shaving stuff sitting out the back. I've had it since the beginning of January, been wanting to get it out on the shelf, but I just had nowhere to put it. Nowhere where I could safely put it, because I get a fair few families come through with young kids, and the kids like to touch and things like that, and I've got razors with razor blades, so I wanted to make sure that they were on a shelf up high, and I just had nowhere to move things around. So it's a good feeling to know that I've finally got those shelves done. I can go and get the shaving stuff and put them out, but I'm gonna have some lunch first before I do that. And then for the rest of the afternoon, I've got the candle refills that I did yesterday to label up. I've got some soaps over there that need shrink wrapping, and I'm pretty sure there's a couple on there that do actually need labeling. So now I've got my extra storage space, and I've got an empty shelf, so I might be able to just sneak a few soaps across. I'm going to do that for the afternoon. So we have got some of the new stock out on the shelf, and yes, I said some, and that shelf is full. For a while now I've been wanting to extend the shaving range, so I've offered a shaving soap both for the men and the ladies, plus this boar bristle shaving soap or shaving brush for quite some time now, and I decided last year I actually wanted to expand this range to include some razors, some extra or some alternative brushes, and I'm also going to slowly bring in some things like aftershave lotion, beard oil, that sort of thing as well, which is why I really needed this shelf, because these are razors. I wanted them up high so that the kids can't get into them, and I also kind of wanted to bring in the alternatives. So as I said, this was a boar bristle brush, and I've always had it because it's not cheap and cheerful, but it is very economical, and it's good for men who just want to have that brush to lather up but aren't interested in having things like the badger bristles, which I have now got a badger bristle brush. And then I've also got a vegan friendly, eco-friendly brush, and there is also another vegan friendly one to go out on the shelf as well. I'm just going to hold off on that one. This vegan friendly, eco-friendly one is completely plastic free and doesn't have any animal bristles in it at all. So I've now got sort of a range for everybody up there, and I wanted to go into some of the more traditional razors. So we've got some traditional blade razors. That's what these are that I've popped up there because I don't have room on the shelf. And then I've got a couple, because my husband said that he would much prefer this. I've got some Mach 3 compatible blades, and I've also got a Venus compatible blade holder as well. They're just nice sturdy handles that are really nice to use with those cartridges. I do have a couple of men's traditional ones to go out, but they're gonna have to wait until March. Once I am ready to put those out, I will actually drop the stock that are on these shelves down a level, and that will give me some extra space in here to keep filling up for the men's shaving range and keep all the facial stuff with it. But as I said, that's not going to happen until about early to mid-March. Oh, I'm going to go and get this put away. There's a couple of school kids walking by, so it must be about 3 o'clock. Yes, it is. So I'm going to go get that put away, and I am actually going to set a couple of oils. Although I don't have enough castor oil with me, there is at least 2 soaps that I really want to get done this week, and I do want to make one of the salt bars up. So I'm going to set the oils for that. I'm not going to fill the tank up, but I will set the oils for those 2 so I can actually make soaps tomorrow. So off we go. Good morning. We have started the day off with just a little bit of housekeeping. Yesterday when I went to fill up or make my soda water for the day, I discovered the soda stream bottle was completely empty, so I didn't really have very fizzy water. So after work last night, I popped into the local supermarket with my empty bottle, got myself a brand new one. I've just popped that in. I also didn't have any cold water in the fridge, so I'm going to get this one into the fridge. The other one's tap temperature water. Luckily, I'm actually not a huge fan of really cold water anyway, which is why I fizz my water in the morning and leave it out on the side and drink it during the day, because I actually don't like that really cold water. So tap water is fine, but I don't know, it's kind of odd. I like to start off with cold water in the morning, but by lunchtime that's when I'm actually drinking it, when it's come up to room temperature. But keeping these in the fridge does actually mean that I know I've always got a bottle of water ready to fizz, and it's not just sitting out on the side, it's actually got a place to live. I'm talking about things having a place to live. One of my goals for this weekend, so today, Saturday, Sunday, is to start getting all of this cleaned up. There's a lot of things that have just over the last couple of months, especially when it got really busy, I was just dumping things back on the shelf, either A, because I was being too lazy to put it back in its actual home, or B, because it actually doesn't have a home as of yet, and it's kind of just, that'll do until I find a better place to keep it. So it's about time I actually started sorting through all of this. There's a couple of ingredients there that I got in for doing some testing with, decided not to go ahead with them, so I can actually see that they are out of date. So I need to have a real good clean up in here, work out what ingredients need to go, what is to keep. There's also a lot of things like out in the back area where I've brought them down because I was needing them, but now I don't need them. So to give myself a little bit more space, I'm going to be taking those home over the weekend and dumping them in the shed instead, but that needs a good clean up too. But after yesterday's sort of thing of getting Rhonda's parcels, or the conference parcels, sent off, and getting that shelving done and getting the shaving soap out and getting that real accomplished feeling, I decided it was time to boost some more of that feeling in here and get this all tidied up. Another thing I need to do today is I've got 2 soaps that I want to make. I have an Easter one, so I want to get that done now so it is ready to go in mid-March, and we can start selling Easter then. And I also have another little secret soap I've been working on, so I won't reveal too much about that. It's a surprise for someone who watches the videos. I also want to do this salt bar, but I ran out of time yesterday to set the oil and live water, so that's going to be the next job I do today. And hopefully if I put my live water into the fridge, it should be cool enough that I can make it by lunchtime and then have it all cut and done before I go home. That's the plan. It may not work. If my oils are not cool enough by about 11:30, or my live water more so is not cool by 11:30, then I will leave it until Saturday, tomorrow morning, to make. The oil should cool down fairly quick because I only actually need to melt the shea butter that's going into it. The coconut oil, being summer, is already liquid, so the rest of the oil should come down to temperature really quick. It's just that live water. So I'm going to go and make that now, which will give me a much better chance of being able to get my salt bar done today. So here is the first of the 2 soaps that I want to create today. This is one of the Easter soaps that will be on offer this year. It is called Bunny Butts, and I did actually make this one last year as well. So if you want to see the video, I'll leave links up in the top right hand corner of how I actually created the one I did last year. One of the differences this year, I'm just going to grab it here, is I have used this beautiful Bio Sparkle glitter on it called Daffodil Fields, and once this disgusting looking green actually brightens up overnight, we should be able to see that sparkle on the top really well. It is such a beautiful Bio Sparkle in there. So really happy. I'm now going to commandeer the camera for a little bit, and I'm going to make the next soap, which will be a full video for YouTube. Okay, so soap number 2 is done as well, and it is so cute. I've just sent a picture to hubby, and he wrote back saying he thinks it's the best one I've ever made. So that's really sweet of him. It's definitely up there in the top top 5 of my favourite ones I have ever made. It's along the lines of when I did my prosperity soap at Christmas with the little gnomes sitting on the top. So it's that sort of really detailed soap. Absolutely love it. It did take me a little bit longer than I anticipated. I had it all planned out in my head. It was should have been a really simple pour, but the fragrance oil was a little bit naughty. But then this company, I should have known better than to use it, because this company's oils lately have always accelerated on me. But it's in the mold. I think it's going to be super duper cute. I had it all planned out. I had the embeds, had everything there ready to go, and I thought it just needs a little extra of something, and you'll see when it comes, when I actually do release the video. It will be out in 4 weeks time. So that, like, the base of it is all swirls of green, and I decided to actually extrude some flowers to go in the bottom. So I had to very quickly make some extruded flower canes to go in the bottom of the soap. So it did take me just a little bit longer than what I anticipated, but I have both of the soaps that I really needed to get done this week done, so I'm happy with that. I have just checked the temperature of the lye water for the salt bar, and it's still too warm. It's now 20 past 12, so I'm not going to make the salt bar today. My salt bar generally is set up and ready to cut in about 4 hours. So, and I'm actually making a slightly bigger mold this time. I used to use the molds that Dean Wilson sent to me, but I'm now actually going to be using these. So I'll be using the slab mold that I've had from Office Season Soap and Cutters. This mold is just, it's been the best for me for my slabs because of the dimensions that I have for this. I can get 36 of my regular soap bars out of this, and I typically do the everyday range, like the rose, black raspberry, all the ones that are constantly in my range get done in the slab. But with the sort of dimensions of this, I can also do my luxury soap bars in here, which are going to become my salt bars, is what this mold will also be used for. And for those, I do them narrower, taller and thicker, but I will be able to get 40 out of this one, whereas the other mold I was doing, I was getting, I believe it was 33. Yes, I got 33 in the old molds. This one I'm going to get a little bit more. So I do need an awful lot of oil. I think I've managed to calculate it right to get the right size bar in this one. We'll see what happens. But it does take about 4 hours for them to set up before I can actually cut them. So with the time it's at now, I've just left it. It's too late to do it. I would have to stay behind after the shop for probably a good half an hour to 45 minutes. And I don't want to leave Lucy at home. Hubby's on a late today, so he's just had 2 days off with her. He's on a late today, so he'll leave home about 1:30ish, and I get home about 5 o'clock if the traffic's going well and that sort of thing. The problem is, like, normally it is not an issue to leave her to do her own thing. She stays home all day, every day, you know, well, all day for many days, and there's no issue. But the problem is at the moment, because she's not allowed to use stairs, when we're not there, she is housebound to the top level, and she's so well trained that she doesn't go to the bathroom in the house. We try to encourage her to go outside on the balcony. Not ideal, but it was an option for us, and she would not go. That is not where she goes. She goes in the garden. So I don't want to leave her at home for any sort of longer than what is necessary, so we can get her outside to the yard to have a walk around, to have a back scratch is her favourite thing to do when we take her out. So I won't do basically all of that is to say I won't be making my salt bar today, but we will make it tomorrow. I'll be into the shop early tomorrow because I have to get my air conditioner serviced. But as I said, it is almost 12:30 now, so I'm going to go and grab myself some lunch, and then I'm going to start cleaning up, and as I said, start going through a few of the things out the back as well, because nothing on the shelf actually needs topping up, so I don't need to make any stock this week. I do have an order. I forgot, I got an order last night from someone that hubby works with, so I'm going to pick that, get that packed and take it home so that he can take it with him to work tomorrow. So first up, lunch, because I'm hungry. Okay, well, I've just had a very interesting experience. I'm sitting here and I am potting up some of the biodegradable glitter parts that I use. So I buy in the bulk biodegradable glitter, and then I actually make my own blends with them. And some of my blends have like these gorgeous sort of shapes and things. Let's see if I can get some. So these are, I don't know if, yeah, you can just see it glistening on my finger. These are like little color shift hearts, and they're in a couple of the blends, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And I thought I actually might start potting them up into some little pots so people can have just the shapes rather than the entire sort of blend. Like I've done these hearts with black, and I've done them in purple and pink and those sort of things. So I'm just putting these into their little pots, and this guy's just come into the shop, and he said to me, raw shea butter, where is it? I said to him, I don't actually sell the raw ingredients, I sell the made products. Well, what about soy? And I said, no, again, I sell the ready-made products. Well, that's really misleading. And he's just stormed off out the door, practically taking it off its hinge with him. It was just like, okay, like flabbergasted the way people can actually behave sometimes. Anyhow, I have had a pretty productive afternoon. I went through all the ingredients out in my store cupboard out the back there. There actually wasn't as many as I thought that were out of date. The ones that were out of date were things that I had bought in to have a go and see what they were, how they behaved, with what they added to products and stuff like that, and then just decided either A, they weren't worth the expense, such as, I think it's pronounced acetire or something like that, and it's what one of the training schools go on about using, and it's very expensive, and I just felt that there were better ingredients out there to actually use. So I had this tub of stuff sitting out the back that had actually gone off, so I've got rid of that and a few other bits and pieces that I'd got in over the years, and they've all passed their expiry last year, so all of that has been sorted. Everything's now got a new home. Things have been cleaned. I then decided, seeing as it was about doing little bits and pieces I've been meaning to do for ages, I then decided my counter over here has been annoying me for ages. I've got some non-slip mats underneath it so it doesn't actually slip and slide all over the floor. And when the people were in cleaning the shop next door, and they were cleaning with a pressure hose, a pressure washer, and all the water came under the wall into my shop, all of my counter had to get moved because there was water under it. And when it got put back, the people, because they were trying to help because they had made the mess, they put the counter back but didn't actually put it so that the non-slip mat was under the counter, and it was constantly sticking out in front of it. And the counter is actually quite hard to move unless you take all the drawers out and move everything off it. It's just really, really heavy. So I hadn't really got around to fixing it, and I thought today, you know what, this has annoyed me for long enough now. I am going to get it cleaned off. I'm also going to give it a really good dust because I didn't realise it got so dirty. So all of that has been cleaned. I've restocked all the bags and everything like that, so that's a really good feeling. And now I'm doing this, as I said, potting up these biodegradable glitters. This bag, I've had it sitting on the side here for a couple of weeks now with the intention of doing this, and it keeps going from home to the shop, from home to the shop, because I have the intention of doing it and just can't find the time to do it. So I thought, well, I looked at the clock thinking it was closer to 3:30 and it was only 2:30, so I thought, oh, I'm going to sit down and start actually doing this, and it will pass some time, hopefully take me up until home time. So it's been a pretty good afternoon, a pretty entertaining afternoon, thanks to that guy who's come in. I can kind of understand where he's coming from, Soy and Shea, but you know, there's plenty of other shops. There's the Crocs shop across the road to me. Do they sell crocodiles? No, they sell shoes. Do they sell shoes made with crocodiles? No. You know, it's not unusual to have a business name that only reflects a certain part of what they sell, but the way that he's just gone off with me was just funny. Really adds to the day. So I'm gonna hopefully, what's the time now? It's only just gone 3 o'clock. Today's going to be a really long day. I've only got one more of these to actually pot up. I'll do the labels up, so I'll see how far this actually takes me. It's then too late to actually really start anything new, and as I said, I don't need to make any product this week. They're all pretty much full, though I could probably actually do with making a couple of candles maybe tomorrow. So I'm going to finish doing this, and if I've still got heaps of time until home time, I will probably go and grab my book out of my bag and just sit and read my book for a little bit. I've had a thumping headache for the last 2 weeks and it just won't subside, so it might just be nice to sit and just read. I think it's this air conditioning that's been giving me a headache. I'm no good with cold stuff. It makes me all achy and stuff, and I think because I've had to have the aircon going for the last couple of weeks because it's been getting warm out there, it's just making me feel absolutely lousy. So I think I might just curl up in the corner with my book for a bit before going home to Miss Lucy Lou. We're home and I can see the parcel in the corner there. It's a lot smaller than I was expecting. I'll get into the house, see where Miss Lucy is. She was given some sedatives today because, oh, there she is. So she must have been sleeping. We just give her, we're meant to have her on sedatives anyway, but we've been avoiding giving them to her, but only giving her when she's got to actually be by herself for a short amount of time. Oh, she's gone. Hello, darling. You got Robot for me? Yeah, you got Robot. Let's go then. Ooh, I spy another parcel on the table. I wonder what that one is. Oh, unless that's my new seeds. I'll go and get the other one and then we'll take a look. So even though that is a bit smaller than what I expected, it is certainly very heavy. I'll show you what's in there in the moment. But this one, oh, that's what it is. Look. It's my castor oil from Heirloom. So guess what I can do tomorrow? I'm actually really surprised about this because it's such a big container. The Australia Post wasn't available for me to use, so it got sent with Border Express. Normally with Heirloom, if I order on a Wednesday, I get it by Friday. It's usually a 2-day turnaround. But because this was coming with Border Express, I had no idea how long it was actually going to take. So really pleased to see that here. So that must be the titanium dioxide, not titanium, the black oxide that I ordered as well. So they've just sent it in 2 things. This one here, I got this the other day. This actually isn't, this is a teaser. This isn't actually going to be released until we come back from off the conference. This is all of the Christmas Bio Sparkle that I got in and it wasn't actually meant to be in right now. We've got some beautiful colours in here. I placed the order for the Bio Sparkles that were released this month, and then about a week after I got them, the company that I use, the wholesaler I use, announced that they were having a sale, and I said to hubby, you know what, I can't really afford to do it right now, but in a couple of months time I'm going to be ordering this stuff anyway, so I may as well take advantage of the sale, pass on the savings, all that sort of stuff. So I did actually order all the Christmas colours and I am just absolutely stoked with the colours that have come. So when we come back from off the conference, I'll get all this sorted and some of these will be going into the creativity packs. I didn't bring the tripod home with me, so this is going to be a bit difficult doing this one-handed, but let's get into this box and I'll show you what we've got. Hopefully they've packed it like they did last time I ordered from them, so I'm not actually cutting into anything. Alright, let's I'm going to put you down and get it open. Alright, I'm in, and these are all new molds that are going onto the Pimp My Soap site. So what I'll do tonight is I will go through these and I will pick out one each of them that I actually need to pick out, and I will take them down to the shop and make some little soap dough embellishments. This is probably really noisy. I'm going to make my little soap dough embellishments so then I can take photos of them and get them up onto the website. Let's have a look here. So there's some really cute ones. Some of these I have got in. Oh, I loved this one when I saw it. It's actually quite a nice big mold too. That's really nice. Some of these I have actually got in to do as part of the creativity boxes. I was thinking ahead, and I've got at least 3 months where there'll be molds. This one's not one of them, but that's got like little strawberries and leaf patches in there. Oh, this is one that I've got. This will be coming out for the next creativity box because we'll be looking at sort of Mother's Day stuff. So I've got these little daisy molds, so that will be in the next creativity box. There's a bit of a sneak peek there, but there are, let me see what else is in here. Oh, so these were like lots of different fruits on them. So we've got bananas, corn, pineapples, all sorts. Oh, what's this one down the bottom? This looks like a free one. Oh, I actually got this in because I wanted to see how well it was going to work. before ordering in a whole heap. They're like little roses, so I'm going to have a play with this one. If the roses come out nicely, then I will get more of these on my next order. Alright, so that has changed my plans for tonight, knowing that this is in. What I am going to do is, if this one over here can be bothered, I'm going to go and get her dinner ready, and I'm sure while I'm doing that the birds will be in on the balcony to get their dinner as well, and then I'll feed myself. And then I'm going to go through these molds. I'm going to take out one each of all the ones that I have ordered to take into the shop tomorrow, and we'll make some of them up into the soap dough embellishments. I like to do this not only for photography, so you can see the sort of possibilities of what you can create with these molds, but also to make sure that they are going to work with soap dough. These are fondant molds, and fondant and soap dough, although you can do similar things, they do behave very differently. So for example, in my last lot I bought out a cherry blossom mold, and the flower and the leaf work really well, but the branch is really hard to unmold. Even when you let the soap set up, it still breaks when you pull it out. So because of that, I actually didn't charge the full price for that mold, and I've made a note that you can't use all of the cavities. So I do like to go through and double check that all of the cavities are going to unmold nicely, give great detail and that sort of thing. So plus it then means I have one each of these molds too. So I'm going to do that, go through all of these, take them into the shop tomorrow. As I said, going to go feed Lucy, myself and the birds, and then I'll probably actually start editing the video tonight, because I've already done Monday and Tuesday and we're up to 40 minutes, so it's going to be another long one. But I know you guys like the long ones. My computer doesn't, our upload speed doesn't but you guys do, so I will keep doing them for you. Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning. I am in the shop early today because we have got someone coming to do the air conditioner. Part of my contract in here is that I do have to have the air conditioning unit serviced regularly, was in the contract, and then after I actually got in here they told me regularly meant every 6 months. I told them no, they couldn't change the conditions of the contract once I was in, but I do actually like to get it done generally just before summer starts, and then as we're coming to the end of summer, because I am dealing with a lot of powder and I know there's a lot of dust that settles everywhere. I like to make sure that it is actually clean, because I have had issues with my air conditioner at home. Hello. Hello. I had to very abruptly stop there because the guys have actually turned up ready to do the air conditioning unit. I'm going to go and get some of this stuff put away while they're doing it. I'm not going to be able to do much because they've decided for some reason these guys actually want to disconnect the power. Didn't happen the last time I had the air conditioning unit cleaned, but you know, safety comes first, so we'll let them do whatever they actually need to do. So I'm going to lose power, which will mean I'll have no lights and that sort of stuff in here. So I'm going to go get this lot packed away. I went over to Glow Nutrition, grabbed myself an energy tea for this morning. It's really nice. This one's called Sunshine, and it's really nice. Not too sweet, just a little bit of a sour tang to it. She also gave me a candle to refill. So once these guys have done their thing today, we will move on to, we've got soaps to cut, candle to fill, and I'm going to set some extra oils for this salt bar I'm going to make. So let me get onto it. I can see that they're coming back now. Job one for the day is off the list. It's about 10 to 9, so I'm a little bit late opening, but there's nobody out there, so it really doesn't matter. I can feel that there is a bit of a difference in that air conditioning now. He said it wasn't actually too bad in there. He said that it had the typical summer build up in there, and that was about it. So that is all nice and clean. And he said the next time they come and do it, because I have to get it done every 6 months, he said it will be a real basic clean, which I was really happy to hear, because the last time I got that air conditioning unit done, the company that I used, which was recommended to me by the agent, charged me almost $200 to have that unit serviced. I discovered them through a flyer in our letterbox, and they were doing a special for this month of $100 for a clean. And he said that the next time that they do the clean on there, it's really not going to need the same deep clean, especially as we're coming out of summer and then into winter. We won't have the same build up. He said it will only be about $40. So I'm really happy with that. I'm going to keep getting these guys in to actually service that. If I can actually pay less per year to get my air conditioning cleaned than what this other company was charging me for one clean in the year. So huge money saver there. But we've got all the power and everything back on. I am going to get this Bunny Butts soap cut up. If you remember yesterday, it was that real khaki, yucky green. Oh, look at that. Look how bright and happy and cheery that is. So we're going to get this one cut open. I've got everything set and ready to go to make this first salt bar that I'm going to do. And then I do also then just have to commandeer the camera for a little bit so I can cut this other soap up that I have made, which you'll be able to see in about a month's time. I bought that castor oil down, so I'm going to get some more soap set up. So maybe tomorrow I can make another one of these salt bars as well. So let's get cracking into this. It should be a good day. I've also got all these molds here, so this afternoon I'll sit and have a play with those and make sure that they all work fine. But first of all, I can see a very low battery power, so let's go and get you plugged in and charged up. I am so super happy with how this soap has come up. It's actually come up better than what I had it planned. The plan was to have all this looking like brown earth with the bunny diving in. Now, because brown soaps, most people are put off by brown soaps, I decided to incorporate the swirl in there to give it a bit of interest. So that's why we just did this swirl of the browns. And then these oranges I did as a drop pour because, oh, that one's a bit sticky. I wanted it to look like there were carrots that the bunny was actually diving in for, and it has just come up absolutely perfect. We got big carrots and little carrots and all sorts in here, so I'm really happy with how Bunny Butts, and look at the swirls in that is gorgeous. So really pleased with this one. It's going to head off onto the cure rack and we'll be ready in time for Easter. Okay, so the first of the salt bars is in the mold. I'm going to be able to cut this one just after lunchtime. I am super happy with how it came out. I kind of had this thought that I wanted it to be an activated charcoal and mint. I'm going to be calling this one Humbug, I think, because what I ended up doing with this one, I made my own essential oil blend. It's got some peppermint, some spearmint, some sweet anise, and then I also added in a little bit of Peru balsam and benzoin to give it that sort of sweeter vanilla sort of smell. So it's very reminiscent of Humbug lollies. And then I've got that black and white swirl through here as well. So I'm going to leave this one sit here for about 4.5 hours, clean up this mess, and then I will cut this one just after lunch. Alright, so I'm going to try and get into this container. I realised as I went to do this that I've left the opener at home that takes these big caps off the top of these containers. So I'm going to see if we can maybe break the seal on the cap here and make it a bit easier to get out. But what I did want to say, I am super impressed with how this has actually come to me. Quite often when you purchase these big drum containers, like I purchase fragrance oils and things in these, you just get sent the drum of product. So whether it's fragrance oil, whatever it is, you just get sent the actual drum, and that is it. What Heirloom have done is they have also included, and it didn't say it was included in the thing, well, at least I don't think it was in the description, they've also included one of the taps as well. So this particular tap, I'm not going to take it out of the bag, but this particular tap would actually go onto the front, down in this bit here. So you take the bit out of the front there and pop that tap in. Now, I've done that with stuff in the past, and I do find that over time, depending what you're storing, they can actually leak. So I don't like to use these taps. I prefer to use these airflow taps. When they're actually bringing the stuff out, they allow air in, so you don't get that guzzle sort of thing. When you put these taps on the front, you have to loosen the top cap to allow air to go in. It's just how the whole thing kind of works. Whereas these taps, you don't need to do that. You can just leave it open. It lets air in as it's pouring liquid out. And it also just makes it a little bit easier to store these containers as well, I find. So let's get that on. That was actually quite easy. So I just need to break that seal to make them easier to open. I've actually got a proper wrench at home for actually undoing these caps. So what I'm doing now is I'm just setting up some oils to do the next salt bar for tomorrow. I'm going to do saffron rose. Now, I already do have a saffron rose salt bar on my shelf. I'm almost out of it. People do really like it. Last time I did it in pinks, purples and whites, but this time around what I'm going to do is put in some Australian pink clay, which should give it a nice pink tinge, and I'm going to add in some saffron powder as well, so we'll get that pink and yellow going. And I'll probably just sprinkle a few little rose petals on the top of this soap as well. We'll see how that goes, so we'll make that one tomorrow. I do also need to do my cucumber aloe vera one, so I'm going to set up the oils for it, and then when I get home I'll double check to make sure I actually do have enough aloe vera at home. If I don't, I'll just come in and think of another one to make. But let's get this castor oil decanted so I can get on with making the rest of the stuff. This is going to take a while to decant, so I've just kind of made myself up a little rig to just leave it there while I go and potter around doing a few other things. actually been quite interesting. Today I've actually done up 2 gift boxes, which is really, really unusual for this time of year. I've got maybe 3 or 4 gift packs sitting around the shop, which are all leftover one. That sounds terrible, but they're all gift packs I'd made up at Christmas time and just hadn't dismantled because I figured that they could actually be done for birthdays and stuff like that, but there's not actually that many. And the packs that are sitting there, I have actually got products that were made specifically for those gift packs and not things that I actually have on the shelf, so I never actually dismantled them when Christmas was over. But today I've actually had 2 people come in wanting gift packs, but they've been wanting soap packs, so soap or candle packs is what they've been after. So that's quite interesting to know. I may have to just put together a couple of little gift packs maybe, and that if that's what people are looking for right now. So I was probably a little bit too eager to get this one unmolded. I thought I was up to the 4-hour mark, and as I started to pull this out and realized it was still quite soft in the corners, I rechecked my timing and I've pulled it out at about 3.5 hours. So I'm just leaving this sit here for a little bit longer just to firm up. It's a real tricky balance of getting it so that it's hard enough to cut it without putting big holes and dents and it falling apart, but not being so hard that it crumbles and falls apart. Now I know a lot of people are saying, well, just put your salt bars into silicone molds, like individual cavity molds. I don't want to. I'm stubborn like that. I like pouring mine into a slab mold because it means I can get those bars to a unique size for me rather than being limited to a silicone mold size. So I'm quite happy with that. Plus I also don't need any more silicone molds in my life apart from these little fondant molds. I don't need any more big soap silicone molds. I have got more than enough out the back, and besides which I've never actually seen one that's the right size for what I want in the salt bars, so I'm going to keep persisting with putting them into the slabs. As you can see behind me, I have got all of the oils and lye water set out for the next 2 salt bars that I need to make. I need to stop off at the shops on the way home and get a cucumber. Then I need to go and raid the garden for some aloe vera because I'm going to do my cucumber aloe vera one. And then I'm going to do the saffron rose soap as well. So that's all set up ready to go in the morning. I do need to go and put some of this stuff away and get myself all nice and neat and tidy again. It has been a really good productive day. I've got a lot done. I've just put some of the small candle jars through the dishwasher to get all the manufacturing residue off them, so tomorrow I will actually make a couple of candles in here, hoping it's going to be cool enough in the morning I can leave my door open and get that scent wafting out through the door. So I've got to go and unload that dishwasher, put this stuff away, and then for the sort of last 45 minutes, because that will take me about 15-20 minutes to do, about the last 45 minutes I'm going to grab the soap dough box out and I'm going to start doing some of these silicone molds to see how they behave. So here I was putting nice neat rows of rose petals down here, considering how this was going to be cut. You know, I didn't want drag marks and stuff like that. And then I finished doing that second row and I thought, you idiot, you actually cut this into 4s, not 3s. So we're going to end up with drag marks anyway. It was too late to try and move the petals because they had soap on them. I've been pushing them in. So I just decided to throw rose petals all over the top of this. We'll get a few drag marks, but that's okay because we get drag marks when we cut salt bars anyway. So that is now absolutely covered in rose petals. I have done the aloe vera salt bar as well. I was a little bit short on the aloe vera. I went out to my plant. It's really been struggling where I've got it. So what I need to do is take a few of the pups off it and put it into a bigger container and move it somewhere else. So it wasn't as big as what I was hoping, but I was missing about 20 grams worth of fresh aloe vera, so I did pop out to the markets to go and see if there were any plant sellers out there, but unfortunately there was only the one and he doesn't sell the succulents. I couldn't see any of the plant sellers that were here, you know, on a real regular basis last year, which is a bit of a shame. I hope they do come back. But anyhow, I decided to make, I've got saffron all over me. I decided to make up the missing aloe vera with some cucumbers. We've still got the right amount of liquid. It's still going to feel absolutely fantastic on the skin. So I've got all of that in there. So the next job is to get all of this lot cleaned up. Most of this, in fact all of it, will go through the dishwasher. It will be a couple of loads because we've got lots of big containers there. Then I've just got to get that bench all cleaned up, and I did get another order come through last night, so I'm going to go and get that one picked and wrapped up, ready to send out tomorrow. Had a bit of a busy morning. I've had a few people coming in. I have stamped all of the, cleaned up and stamped all of the soaps that I made yesterday and got them onto the cure rack. I do need a bit of space on there to put the salt bars on. So this soap was actually ready the other day. This is Gardenia, so that one was ready. So I'm just wrapping that one up now. I have had a few people coming in this morning as well, which has been great. What will never actually cease to amaze me about running a business is that sometimes you can have a product that, you know, is a popular product, but you go through periods of it not selling, and it could just be because it's the weather, just not the right time of year and stuff like that. So you keep relatively low stock, but know that you're not really going to run out. You can actually make it before it gets too low, and that is the case with my face cream at this time of year. It just doesn't sell particularly quickly because no one really wants cream and stuff on their face in this hot summer weather. So I had 5 tubes of face cream sitting on my shelf this morning. One of the tubes has gone off in an order. 2 others were bought by the first customer that came in this morning. I then had another one who came in and purchased one, and then I've just had another customer come in and purchase one, so all the face cream just went boom and it was gone. And I don't have any in my backup drawers down there because it, you know, as I said, it doesn't actually sell particularly quickly in the summertime. So I am completely out of face cream. I will be making that next week because it's too late today to be making it because of the whole heating, cooling down, and I don't want to leave it sitting on my side Monday, Tuesday before potting it up on Wednesday. I don't like leaving it sitting for that long. So I'll make that on Wednesday when I'm back in the shop. But the other thing that's just completely disappeared off the shelf is the facial gel serum that I do. Now thankfully that one is actually cold processed, really quick and easy to make. So I'm going to get these soaps shrink wrapped, lost the words there, get these ones all done up out onto the shelf, and then I will have a look at making the facial gel serum because I now have this great big gap just in there with no product, and that's going to bother me, so I need to get that fixed. So I've done some vacuuming and mopping, not that you would actually know it because I now have rose petals all over the floor with thanks to this salt bar. I was just about to go and get myself something to eat because I was really hungry, and as I walked by the salt bars sitting on the side, I had, you know, a bit of a poke and a prod, and I realised they were just on ready to cut, and if I was going to eat anything I was going to miss it. So I'm absolutely starving right now, but I'm persisting with cutting these salt bars because they literally are right on the very verge of not being able to be cut nicely. So first up I cut the cucumber and aloe vera. I am super stoked with how this came out. I've even got curly whirlies in it, so really happy. I love the smell of this one. This is one of my favorite salt bars out of the two I've been doing. And then I've cut into the saffron rose one. Actually, I'm going to lie that on its side. The last one always goes wonky if I don't cut it on its side. The drag marks actually aren't too bad with the rose petals, and it's possibly because it is a salt bar. That piece is a bit boring, just the two layers there. I've got a couple here which have got swirls in them, but I'm kind of almost hurrying through the cutting because they are cooling down quite quickly now, and once they cool down, that's when it becomes too hard to actually cut these. I'm going to try doing this one on its side. No, I think it likes going the other way. It puts too much pressure on my wire going that way. So I'm right on that sort of cusp of being able to cut this one, and I'm starving hungry, but that's all right. Well, once I've got this one cut, it will be almost home time, so I'll go and grab something to eat once I get home. But really loving it. Look at that yellow. How gorgeous is it? It's really difficult to get nice, bright, vibrant colours like that when you are using natural colorants. So I'm going to be really interested to see how well this one actually holds. And then I absolutely love this sort of mauve colour that the Australian pink clay has gone. I used to have another pot of Australian pink clay from some time ago, and it was a beautiful deep pink colour. But I don't know exactly what happened, but something happened with the mining of the Australian pink clay, and for quite some time it actually wasn't available to buy, and then it came back into stock last year at New Direction. So I got myself a new pot of it, and the clay isn't as dark in colour as what it used to be, so I was a bit concerned about what sort of colour I would get out of this, but I really like that sort of mauvey colour it's given. Maybe if I'd used a little bit more it would have been a little bit darker, but I do love the absolute contrast between this nice pale and then this super bright colour. This one's not going to be ready for 4 weeks, but I'm keen to see what actually happens. If you want to know what happens with this gorgeous yellow colour, come and follow over on Instagram and I will post pictures of this one when it is ready. I'm almost at the end of cutting this, and then I have to clean up my mess. It is almost home time, thankfully. It's going to be a mission to get home tonight. I think it's going to take me longer than it usually is. Sting is playing at Sirame Winery, doing the big green, Day on the Green or something like that. They're a real pain in the butt, this winery. They're on a main road where there's very little sort of way to get around it, and when they have these big concerts they end up blocking the road off, and local residents cannot get home easily. Hubby said the other day, the last one that he did, he forgot it was on, and he went to come home and he got so far home and then got turned around and had to go all the way back around just to get home. It took him an extra 40 minutes to actually get home, so it's a real pain in the butt when they do these, but hubby did warn me, so I will go home the longer way. So instead of only taking me about 22 minutes to get home, it's going to take me closer to 40 minutes to get home today, but at least I won't have to turn around and make it an almost hour trip. When I get home, I'm actually going to edit the last bit of this super long vlog. Because I was doing all 7 days this week for you, I decided to try and make a real effort to edit a bit of the video every night, and I have done so well at that. There was one night where I didn't do any editing because I was sitting with hubby watching telly, but I have actually sat down every other night and I have edited the video. So last night I edited right up until the end of Saturday, and I just have to add some music, and then I'll do Sunday, and then we'll start the long process of trying to get it uploaded onto the internet. We're having real issues with our provider again. They're telling us that we can't have the offer that we are on, but we've argued with them and we're on it again for another 6 months, so we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty sure when they said that we could have it, they dropped our upload or our speed a little bit more again, because it's slower than it was about 12 months ago. So it's a real pain in the butt, but we only have to be with them for another 2 months, and then we get to actually choose another service provider. If you haven't heard any of the internet issues that we have, basically they put in a line into the estate where we are, and only one service provider can provide internet access via cables to the homes, and I don't know how they've got away with it, because that is called a monopoly, and over here in Australia it is illegal to have a monopoly on a service. So we don't know how, and I've actually bought that up with them. Hubby and I bought that up with them, which is how we managed to get the deal that we're on, because I said I would take it to the ombudsman that they had a monopoly on the internet service into our house and that we couldn't physically go with anyone else. But apparently this year they've finally sold the internet lines, meaning that all the other service providers are going to be able to access them and provide us with the service as well. So we will, the minute that happens, we've already found the service providers that we want to try, so we will go with them, and hopefully when I do you a 2-hour long vlog, it won't take me, and I kid you not, it took me 4 4.5 hours on the last vlog, so I'm going to guess that this one is probably going to take at least 5, if not 5.5 hours to upload. So enjoy! On that, I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me this week. If you did, why not leave a thumbs up and any comments down below. If there's anything you would like to see me film, also leave those down in the comments below and I'll see what I can do for you. So thank you for joining me, and until the next one. The next one is going to be very different. I am going to take you away on our holiday when we go to the Australian Soaping and Candle Conference. I do have permission from Rhonda to do a little bit of filming while we're at the conference, so I can show you what's there, and I'm also going to show you some of the absolutely wonderful parts of this country that hubby and I are going to go and have a look at, because we're making it a holiday as well as the conference. So until that next one, when I take you on holiday with us, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.